Welcome back, all my melanated creatures and creations. This is a holiday special, so happy holidays or happy whatever you celebrate. We're going to be talking about drugs and drugs of all natures and textures and forms.
All natures.
So, where to begin? I guess we'll start with the soft stuff.
What about my name?
Alcohol.
Yeah,
Y'all know what's by okay, forget it. What? My name's Juice.
It's your girl CJ.
Plus,
Hey guys, it's Stacy.
I am Mojo.
Wow. Okay, I thought y'all knew what's by now. It's fine. It's fine. But we're going to talk about, again, drugs and all types of stuff. So, alcohol.
Is it a drug?
It
Yes,
is
it's a drug.
Okay, it is a drug.
I mean, what's a drug?
What is a drug?
What's a drug? What's the definition of a drug? Y'all?
Got
Something that affects your mental state, mental and
We
physical
gonna look
state.
it up, y'all.
I mean, because, yeah, a lot of things can.
But they say a lot of things are drugs.
from chocolate to anything.
Okay,
Anything.
a drug, a medicine or other substance which has a
Physiological.
physiological
That's right.
effect when ingested or otherwise introduced into the body. Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks,
Because,
So
can't read.
anything that interferes or changes the chemicals in the body.
Yes.
Okay, so
Which alcohol does.
do y'all believe food
Yes.
is a drug?
Yes.
Yeah, people get addicted to
And
food.
improving that
Do
like
you
love is a
believe
drug.
food is the
Yeah.
drug or the mind is the drug?
Well, when you eat food, it releases epinephrine, don't it?
Still have that.
Some foods release that, not all. Actually, it's not even the foods that release epinephrine, it's the sensation you get from eating the foods. So it could still be the mind.
Do I think food is a drug? Yes, I do.
I don't
You can
think
get addicted to food, like that's not uncommon.
If you can get addicted to food, it's not necessarily the food that you're addicted to. You have an addictive mind. So even if you get off of food, you're gonna find something else to get addicted to.
Get off.
If you addicted off of food, you're gonna find something else to get addicted off
That is
of.
true.
So that's why I feel like it's not necessarily the food that's the drug.
So I don't
Problem.
agree with that.
You can get addicted to food?
Yeah, like if you ever, watched any type of
You
You
talking
talking about 600-pound life?
No, I'm I'm like my addictive stories. There's this lady that was addicted to cheesy potatoes, and man, I would be some cheesy potatoes.
like cheesy
But that's like
potatoes.
literally all she ate. Like it happens all the time where people can be addicted to one type of food or to just food in general. So
But you need food though.
That's
That's
not
the
like
difference. Drugs you don't need.
That sounds like a psychological issue.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you don't really need
It's okay.
You don't need food.
I mean, not if you don't want it.
you can survive
You
off
gotta
of
want
food.
something.
You can survive off of not eating food for like
Yeah.
a few weeks.
Exactly, but you're gonna eventually need
Die.
Yeah.
Completion.
And that's what life's about. Life is about living
Living to not,
and
You
experiences
said
you
living
have
to not
when you
eat.
live.
bro. I don't care if it's something out of the
Okay.
garbage, bro. I'm going.
But yeah, food, in my opinion, is
Look,
not a
if
drug.
it's been like 45 days and it's between garbage and food, it's not.
So garbage and food.
I mean not garbage and food. Garbage and not eating.
You wouldn't even survive after 45 days.
I still think. I don't know. Back to this addicted food. But no, I don't think
Food is an addiction.
So the addiction is the action, I guess, or the behavior.
I feel it's the behavior.
So is that what drugs are?
Yeah.
It's the
No,
behavior.
drugs can actually chemically alter your mind where like you feel like you need that to survive. Because like necessarily food, I don't believe you can have food withdrawals. Like I feel like you can sway yourself off of food and sway yourself not into eating as much, but I don't feel like if you ate so much and then you just stop eating that much that you're gonna go into shaking and shivering. I don't feel like that. Like heroin, you take it for years and then you go back and not smoking heroin, you feel me? You gonna start shivering, having cold sweats, and you feel me like.
Well, I mean, like, with food, it's different, because it's like, say you're addicted to eating one type of food, so you're eating that one type of food for the rest of your life. If, say you switch up and you eat a salad one day, you out, bro. Like, you will be throwing up all over the place. It happens like that. So, I mean, I feel like you can be addicted to food the same way you can be addicted to drugs. in case I don't say no more
What
about
about
food.
alcohol too? Do y'all think alcohol is a drug?
Yes.
Yes.
Alcoholism is a
Look, if
very
you
serious disease.
can get in, if you can drink that and get into a car and kill people, you can. That's definitely, you know, up there into altering your mind and what you're doing. Like,
So at what point does it become a problem? Does the alcohol consumption become a
When
problem?
you have to
Okay.
have alcohol every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
I mean, but some
What's a
people
function?
drink it every day, like
You-
simply to like go to sleep. So is that
That's
real?
addiction.
But like the problem.
That's a problem?
That's
addiction.
I mean, like if I had a
You
glass
gotta
of wine
drink
before I
alcohol
go
to
to
go to
sleep.
sleep.
I mean,
I know.
what if that's just
But-
a ritual?
Yeah.
Like some people gotta be facing away from their TV.
Yeah,
to go
I have to
sleep,
face the
or-
wall to go to sleep.
Some people smoke to go to sleep.
Yeah, like
Insomnia.
I feel
yeah,
like
it's
it's
true.
only a problem whenever, like, if you drink alcohol or whatever type of drugs you're using, when you don't, like, when you can't control yourself while you're on that substance or whatever it
It
is, or
inhibits
that.
you or it becomes a
Not necessarily
Yeah.
because there are functioning
Alcoholics.
cocaine addicts too.
oh,
That's what I'm saying. It's fine.
Function.
They're
They're
functioning.
functioning.
As long as you
I've
function.
seen them.
So
they're
they
still-
can control
they're still
themselves.
addicted to
They
it.
can control themselves while on the drug
Yeah.
because they're still functioning.
I
I feel
feel like
like
That's the problem.
once it becomes like a routine, like that's.
I feel like once you think that you can't not have it, that's when
Yeah.
it becomes a problem. Like if you feel like, dang, I have to have this glass of wine or I'm finna be up for 24 hours, like that's when it's like, okay, like you might have an issue.
Yeah.
So is it a problem if you binge drink or get drunk? Is it a problem then?
If you feel like every time you need to go out, you have to binge drink and throw up and black out, then might
That's
be
a
an
problem.
Maybe that's why you party.
Mm.
If you wake up the next day in pain, throwing up, and you
You
know
chose
that
that
that's
life,
gonna
though.
happen
Hold on.
No, but binge drinking is a serious issue, especially in colleges.
in college, that's what I'm saying.
Y'all
Like,
get into that.
there's sometimes I'll go to a party and I get to that moment where like, okay, I might throw up, so I need to chill. I feel like you feel me. That's wavy enough. Like I feel like if you purposefully go to a function and drink yourself to almost death, that you might be dealing with some issues that you
But what
don't
if
know.
that's
I mean,
a
like,
one-time thing? Like,
Yeah, like
you
what
just
if you
wanna
should have fun?
just one time.
Okay, that's not an issue. That's an accident.
But you purposely, what if I purposely said
Some
I-
people don't know their limits. Some people might think they're perfectly fine and then 10 minutes later be on the floor passed out. I feel like if you know your limit and you purposefully doing that shit, like that's weird. But like, okay, you do it for one night, boom, you realize that shit's wrong.
If you
That's
get
an
blackout
accident.
drunk at every function,
That's an
That's
issue.
a
Like,
problem.
that's a problem.
yeah.
Maybe
But
that's
people
how
want
they
to
party
party
though.
though. Okay.
Yeah, like some people just like to
I'm
party like
saying,
that.
like,
People
what
be
if
mixing
you-
up their own health
What if you
with
just
fun.
want to live
People
that
be
way?
forgetting about their health when they trying to have fun.
Yeah,
like,
when-
okay, that shit's fun. You out of your element, cool. Everybody looking at you because you live and you just belligerent. But like, you have to think about the long-term outcome. Like, after a while of doing that, when you get older, like your liver is not
It's
going to
crying.
functioning.
Your
Like,
liver is saying.
I try
"Leave
to
me
always
alone."
keep that in the back of my mind, even like when I. Almost like that. Even when I indulge a little bit, you feel me, try to get out of my element, we're gonna keep it like that. But I try to think about stuff in the long run, like, okay, this stuff it's not good for my body, at least the way I am consuming it is not good for my body. So if I am going to do this, this needs to be done in moderation. And that's why I personally would never mess with no hard drugs, because that stuff instantly deteriorates you. Like, that stuff is chemically altered, put into cleaning solutions that's supposed to kill germs, and you're putting that stuff into your body. So I just feel like,
So
for me, like, if you feel like you have to do that and you don't even care about your body and what's going into it, then I feel like that's an issue.
So why do people turn to like alcohol and other drugs? Why do they turn to?
Well, it depends all about like who they are as a person. Like I know, like I've had family that's dealt with alcoholism. Like we have that as a running issue in our family, and it's simply because of the things that they've been through, whether it was like rape or jail, something like that. Like it's traumatic experiences, so that's how they deal with it. Where they smoke cigarettes, they drink alcohol, they do whatever they need to get by every
Temporarily,
day.
like takes them away from their.
Yeah.
So do you think, like, let's be specific about the Black community. Do you think it's other outlets available? Because I know we were talking about like mental health and how it wasn't access to mental health care was not accessible like for Black people and it was looked down on. So with that being said, like with rape, trauma, jail and everything, they turned to the alcohol. But so the real problem is that there's no other outlet for them. Is that it?
For black people, sometimes I feel like, this might be wrong, I'm gonna say it anyway. I feel like drugs have been around like for so long that is kind of like instilled into our culture, because you have to think about it. They always say that crack was introduced to us. We didn't just come out of the woodworks making crack. So I feel like black people, I don't know, I feel like that's been around in our culture for so long that some people have seen it so often and seen people around it or been around it so often that they feel like that's okay. Like this is an okay way to express my feelings or get stuff out or keep my mind off of things. Like I feel like subconsciously as a black people we do that kind of like.
But then,
for
like,
example, with marijuana, like.
But with heroin, like in the 70s and stuff, it was like really that heroin addiction and
But
stuff.
you don't really see too many black people. That's what I'm saying. Like.
But it was, and so like from there, I'm talking about like more the harder drugs, I guess. Then, like with the harder drugs, if you see that going on, why would you replicate that? If you see how this person is just deteriorating in front of your face because of their addiction, why would you turn to that?
Some people think
It's
that their
the
problems
same.
are like.
It's the same with like when people grow up in abusive households and they turn into abusers.
Yeah, it's like that's all you know. That's what you learned.
So I don't know. Is there a good way to be exposed to drugs?
A good way to be.
A good way to be exposed to drugs.
Do y'all think y'all should introduce drugs to y'all kids before they go out to the real world and start smoking weed and crack?
Okay, well, hold on, hold on. Okay, so personally, as a parent, like, if I was a parent, 'cause I'm not, please, not having no kids anytime soon. But if I personally was a parent and like, say my kid was in like high school, like it's their junior year of high school or something, and they come to me and they're like, hey mom, like all my friends they're smoking weed or something, like what's all this about? Like, can you show it to me or something? Like they come to me about it. I'm gonna be open with them, and I might offer them like, hey, do you want to do it? We can do it together before I let them do it with their friends. The simple reasoning for that is because they do put other things in weed. So it's like if my kid doesn't know how to check it, like I can help them with that. Not that I do that or anything like that, but
So
If why not
like if your child is curious about the drug, just like a child is curious about
What are they curious about?
no, like no. If they're curious about sex,
Okay. That's what
how
I
you about to lay down in bed with your child?
no, I'm not gonna do that. But this is a completely different thing.
So why not with sex you educate your
I'm
child
gonna
about
educate
sex?
my child about sex, but this is completely different.
No,
And
it's
this-
not.
Yes, it is. Quest, because a kid can go out and get drugs anywhere.
Right. Okay.
Like-
So let me say. So you with sex, you don't lay down in the bed and have sex with your child. You educate. Wait. You educate the child about sex, right? So why not with weed or other drugs? You educate the child about the weed.
Because
they're still gonna want to do it. They're gonna want to try it. It's still a kid.
Let me just try it this one.
Okay.
So it's like, why would I let my kid go out and get something that might be contaminated with something else that could possibly kill him? Versus like if I had went and I took him to the shop down the
That
street.
is crazy.
Hold on.
That sounds like you want to be your child's friend.
This is like a junior in high school. I'm not taking no 5-year-old to go get no weed. Like, what? I'm talking about like a high school kid. Like this is not no like elementary kid. Like
It's just like, okay, you get to a certain age, you know that they're gonna be exposed to certain stuff. So if you like introduce them,
So educate them. I just going to see this like as okay. We're just about to pass the ball around.
no, it's not. I'm gonna educate my kid. I'm gonna let them know like this is what it is. This is what it does.
But you also
if
can
they're
do a
still
smoke with them.
yeah, exactly. If they're still curious about it, they want to try it. I would rather them do it with me than I would rather
No,
them do it
guess
with their
what?
friends.
If my kid comes back, he curious, I'll tell them about the weed and everything. And then if they come to my house, I'm going to whip them. That's simple as that.
but we come from two different places. I'm from California. I'm more.
But it
liberal
just sounds
that.
like-
So you have to.
But no, I just feel like when you say you'll sit down, if after you educate them and they're curious, it sounds like to me that you're prioritizing being a friend to your child.
No, I'm prioritizing my kid being safe over anything else.
Communication.
Like, it's all about that. Like, you're seriously, like, say if you educate your kid on it, okay? And they went out and to do it, there's a chance that your kid could die because it's contaminated with something that you don't even know about. Versus like versus you getting it from an actual shop, not no secondhand dealer in high school. There's a complete difference for that.
Okay, so I sit down, I tell my child about all different weeds and everything, what's good, what's not, what can really harm you, what this other one will affect you. Okay, they know that. You tell them that too.
Yeah.
No, but you tell them that you smoke the good weed with them, but they're still curious about the bad weed.
What? No.
Yeah,
if I told them that this was finna kill them and they really finna go do it.
Yeah.
I know kids that have done that.
That's really stupid.
Yeah, it is. But that's how kids do it. I feel like you're like opening that gate. Okay, this is, well, I'm not saying that smoking weed is bad, but just I feel like it just needs that level of boundaries. Like, come on now. Like,
so you would honestly rather your kid go out and smoke with some friends that probably don't even know what they're doing just the same versus like coming to you and being open about it?
no, you can be open and talk to me, but I'm not about
That
to
her doing that could be the determining factor. Like they could go out to a party and somebody could be like, "You ain't never smoked weed before," and the kid could be like, "Yeah, I smoked weed before. It's just not my portion," and it could be that.
Yeah.
I feel like y'all both right because from your standpoint, for example, in legal states, when a parent has smoked weed, you feel me, and like the child has seen dad smoke weed and they're curious and dad smokes with them, okay, they familiarize themselves with weed, so when they get older, they might not want to try it because they already have the experience, they already know this about. But then I see what you're talking about. My mom told me, like for example, I have family members that are crack addicts. My mom explained to me what crack was, what crack did, how crack affected her life, so I no longer wanted to try or experiment. Like, it wasn't that she got the crack and experimented with me or, you know, I went with something. Like, she explained what it was, what it did, how it affects you and how it negatively affects you, and so I no longer wanted to try it. Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm leaning more towards Quest side because I'm not.
Okay, wait.
Look at my child. It's my marijuana.
Let's talk about.
I don't feel like marijuana is a drug. We just gonna put that out. Marijuana. If my child is 20, she done experienced she's getting into her adult life. She's like, Mom, boom, this happened. I experimented with it. I know you do it. Do you want to, smoke along with me? Yes, daughter, you're grown at this point. You're grown. My daughter is a teen, and she coming to me like, Mom, I want to know what this is. So I'm gonna be upset. Like, I'll be like, you have other stuff you need to be focusing on right now. Like, you're adolescents. Why are you doing drugs right now? Like,
okay, but like,
no.
Drugs, marijuana, like sativa is a strain that does help you focus. So if like my kid needs help focusing on work and like we've smoked weed, he likes it, I might let him do it. But
okay,
not
that's
often.
completely
Like
different because that's about.
Because there's medical marijuana
and
there's recreational marijuana.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying like we're gonna monitor that. We're gonna work together. We're not gonna
recreational marijuana.
But like I said, we're gonna monitor that. Like I hope to have that type of bond with my kid.
There's a difference. If my doctor says my child has epilepsy,
Right,
there's a study proving that THC, calms down the epilepsy symptoms. That's totally different because that's my child's life on the line. Other than my child's curiosity and my child just wanting to know how this affects their body just because they seen, I don't know, television or something else. That's more recreational. I wouldn't lean towards that because I don't want my child getting into a habit at an early age. You're already, probably going to try it when you get older. I would just educate them on what to do and what not to do as far as that and just hope that they would take my knowledge. But that's with anything that I teach my kid. Like, I would just educate them, hope that they take the knowledge and move forward as an adult with that knowledge. I wouldn't necessarily have to experiment with everything with my child. That's even with alcohol. I wouldn't even drink. I'm not gonna drink a glass of wine with an adolescent and just hope that teaches them something. I'm just gonna educate them on the fact.
And then I think another way to educate, like if if the parent, whoever is over the child, if they participate in any type of activities, and like I've seen my mom drink, and I know what drinking just by when I was younger, like seeing her and stuff. So just seeing how she handled liquor, that kind of showed me, educated me. You don't necessarily have to pass the bottle around, pass the blunt around to educate. Like, them seeing that image really is just like, okay, this is how you're supposed to do it. That's why I don't think you should have to here. I mean,
Preference.
At the end of the day, you can't really prevent your kid from doing anything. It's
Yeah, what's
the
that?
values you're instilling them and how you raise them.
Around you.
yeah, I agree.
Just could hope that they take
So
what you
is
taught.
crack like?
It's crack.
Wait,
It's crack. It's crack. It's crack.
It's like, well, you said crack is, you saw how it affected the family and everything. So it's crack, dad, versus cocaine.
they're both bad.
They're both
Oh my
bad,
gosh.
but I feel like
One is just both the more exquisite version of the other.
Crack is cheap.
One you
That's
cut
the
the
thing.
other with some chemicals and shit, and it makes the other one like they both gonna kill you. So,
that's very true.
But what about some people like the function?
you have to chemically alter it to make it.
Um,
It's not meant to be put into your body.
I mean, but opium is natural.
Don't
That
they,
shit,
don't
that
they
stuff
typically
is not
alter
meant to be
medicine?
put into your body.
Opium, isn't it opium?
Opioids.
No, like heroin, the pure form of heroin.
Yeah, yeah, that's the stuff that make opiates cool.
But that's
Poppy
natural.
seeds.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
that's natural.
yeah, poppy seeds can make you fail a drug test.
You know how many poppy seeds you have to eat to get that
Yeah.
sensation? If you sat there and ate that many poppy seeds, you really have a problem, bro. Like, you just ate bags and bags of poppy seeds. That's weird. Like, that should be an issue right there.
Wait, so what was your question?
She said because it's natural, but
Yeah,
it's,
opium is
you have,
natural.
I don't think they extract that type of heroin from poppy seeds. I feel like they chemically make that.
I got a question.
I honestly feel like they chemically
Do
make
y'all think that the drug itself are inherently bad, or that the, I guess the
User.
addictive, like who does it fall upon? Are you gonna put the blame upon crack? Don't do that, or don't do that crack, or both of you stop doing it, or like what? Where does the blame fall upon in y'all head, in y'all mind?
I feel like it's 50.
No, the
Like,
blame is on the person.
it's
Because if you're educated about it and you know better and you still do it, what do you do?
Some people think that their issues are so unbearable that that's the only way to
Yeah,
cope with
that's
it.
their out.
But then, once they try that drug is some drugs are instantly addictive, like methamphetamines,
So-
crack, stuff of that nature. So once you hit it, like,
But
I
I
got a
do
question.
think,
Another one. If a person grabs a fork and kills someone, is it the fork spark being a fork and sharp? And then a person's hand?
That sound like that, guns. Don't
No.
kill people. People do.
that is
it's
true
not
though.
drugs,
Like,
but no.
I mean,
I'm saying,
but
you can't blame them.
with drugs and addiction, the person,
But if
That-
people don't have access to it, it's just like.
right? But you know how you hear like people hit rock bottom, right? And then from anything, from be it outside of drugs and addiction, that's when they really start to find their strength to overcome. So like with drugs and addiction, you have that strength to overcome it. Now you have obstacles and barriers to overcome the drug, and by no means, and I'm like shaking my head at addicts and stuff like that, but that person does still have control. Like you can't, and for the person to think that the drug controls them, that's something within the person that is allowing him or her to think like that. So the person still has control. To me.
You don't think drugs are psychologically addictive?
Yeah, I do.
But I feel like you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, like ahead of
Do
time.
a drug, or you should know. I feel like the problem.
I don't
is
think
not-
everybody
People who just
knows.
mindlessly
I'm
try
saying,
it, just
that's what
try
I'm
it.
saying, G. The problem isn't the drug. The drug itself isn't the problem. It's the person's mindset who's doing the
Yeah.
drug. If you have an addictive personality, or if you don't know what you're doing, and when consuming a drug, all of that stuff goes into account. Like, people should really research everything. Like, your life is your life, right? So if you take something that's going to alter your mind, something that controls your entire life, if you take that on a blind faith, how am I supposed to feel so negatively bad for you if you didn't even care about yourself enough to?
Some people just don't have that. They don't understand how to regulate their emotions and deal with it. So they don't have any outlet. So they look at that as their own way. So I'm not putting the fault completely on the person, because as a society, community, family, like there's this lack of support system that I think that needs to be there, so that people won't have to turn to that type of stuff. Or even if they turn to it, they won't.
I would rather you raise someone with the strong morals and foundations than to, what's that song from Bernie Sanders? Was that it's easier to raise strong children, strong men, than to fix broken men, or something like that. Like,
but we're in a society now where there are broken men.
I'm saying raise strong.
But I'm just saying, like,
You can't
what if
raise
they're
a
in a
man,
society that's full of drugs?
I mean,
You can raise a man. You can raise a man.
Is it their fault for being a broken person and trying to cope with it? But the drugs are always there. Like, what if the drugs just aren't there? What if the drugs aren't made? I'm mad at being crack. I'm more mad at the crack being in the room. Like, what if it's just there and that's what they don't know how to cope with their feelings? So yeah, they use it.
Who made the drugs? It comes from the government.
The government made it.
The government is
That's
pushing it to our black
They
community.
know niggas come here knowing how to already make crack.
The government made crack.
Didn't nobody come here knowing how to chemically cook up no crack.
They bought baking. Dealers bought baking soda so that they could stretch out their cocaine supplies.
You think they just started that?
I really do. Yes, that's why they put all that crazy stuff
But do you
in
really
there.
think that
Everybody
they
has
imported
baking
this?
soda in their house,
No.
don't they?
That was instilled in them.
Oh, well.
They're already low-funded
They do.
homes. They took the high-grade cocaine that got put into their society, stretched it with the baking soda that they got taught how to do that by the government. But anyways, they stretched that, introduced it because they already have low-funded jobs and no money.
But
so this is another opportunity to get money. But also that money is going to shift back to where they got the pure drugs from, which is what? The government. It's a way of money and to still keep those people down from not being successful.
But the thing, like when
You still keeping that society down from not being successful and not doing anything and still getting your cut of money.
during the heroin epidemic stuff, like during the 70s, all that happened, it wasn't, the black community wasn't like it is now. Like it wasn't as depleted and deprived as it was actually close knit. So the people that they were actually sending it to, like manipulating, be it that the black people were not rich and everything like that, it still had that sense of community. So when they imported the drugs, they didn't target the ones that were on the street already.
What they target?
Like the parents.
The
Fathers, the ones, the middle class family. Like that was the truth. They didn't just, there wasn't just hobos or like homeless men. They were like there wasn't that wasn't the case back then. Yeah, like it destroyed the family, and then that led to the mass incarceration. And from there, now we're here to this community where it's fragmented. So it was the family that the drugs.
So you don't think everybody was smoking crack? Back
What?
then. I said you don't think everybody was smoking crack back then.
What you mean?
No, I feel like it was targeted towards the low-income families.
I think it was targeted towards the
Minority
middle
families.
class family.
It makes sense to be
Yeah.
like targeted toward the middle class families because it means that you're coming up in the world, and that's exactly what the white man does not want. So he will knock you down to where he thinks you belong, which will then
That's a
infiltrate your
conspiracy, but I
community.
think it's a very highly possible conspiracy.
Because like my thing was like the majority does not fear the man who is sitting on the street. Like the majority fears the scholars in college, the black scholars, HBCUs. That is what white people fear.
Everybody was smoking crack in the 80s though.
But why? That's what I'm saying.
Because
Why?
it was low end.
The
That's why people were
government,
adding baking soda and different things to the crack, to the cocaine.
still brought it into the middle class. The government brought it into the middle class family.
How?
And that
How?
I feel like it's impossible. The coca leaf is in a whole nother part of the world. How would we get to that? How would that even make it over here? That just, like, to me, it's so blatantly there. Like,
Didn't cocaine come through like canals and stuff? And
the reason that stuff was even thought of was not us as a people. It was the higher up. And as we know, the higher up is full of people that aren't of our hue.
So let's really talk about
No problem.
it's the white people. Why are white people so
No, it's not the white people. It's higher up.
government.
It's not white people. Nowadays, it's not just white people. Okay, it's higher up, trying to keep the lower low and keep themselves high and still make money.
So why does the government fear the upbringing of
I don't think they fear the upbringing of anything. I feel like they want to keep their spots and they want to be rich. And if everybody is educated, rich, and famous, there's
attack the black community.
Yeah.
Literally. The war on drugs.
I disagree with what you just said.
I feel like it's right today in this age. It's not about I don't want a black person. I feel like it's you feel me? Like I'm high up. This makes me money. Just like Donald Trump, that man is not. He might be an idiot, which he is, but he strategically played that game. Like he doesn't. I don't feel like he really feels that way. He's trying to keep himself in a position, make himself money, make himself business moves, and he knew that was the smartest way to do that.
So
I don't feel like
the
now
difference
it's
between
necessarily-
Donald Trump and like every other person in the government is that Donald Trump, what he does is he steals people's money by creating these places. Like he had an apartment complex that didn't even get built, and he stole millions of people's millions of dollars. That's how he didn't get the money back.
Donald
That's how
Trump
he
definitely
stole it.
thinks
Y'all think
Gears a little
codeine?
bit. Yeah.
Codeine is a drug. Now, you choose the way you want to consume.
So do y'all
codeine.
think hip hop plays a role in how in
The
In the
consumption of
consumption.
drugs.
yeah?
Okay,
Absolutely.
I feel like that's a cultural.
No,
Because
it's
for
not.
me, before the rap game even did that, where I'm from, that was already normal. Like it was already around. So before it was even in the music, like I seen it in the music videos, like wow, they put it in the music videos now. Like I was like, dang, we made it. But anyway, I'm just like, I feel like that the codeine was just already in that group of drugs that have already been there.
Yeah, I feel like
It was always around
the
me.
culture influences rap, not the other way around necessarily.
Yeah, like
I disagree with that.
Wow.
I feel like the rap
The
influenced everybody
popularization,
else.
Yeah.
Cocaine and hip hop started in the 90s.
So what?
Yeah.
Cocaine and
Yeah.
hip hop started in the 90s.
I've never seen it personally in a music video.
Yeah.
That where I'm from, that's that's what it is. Like that's
was it
just-
something was it a negative or was it something like
how I grew up, to me, looking at it wasn't like yeah, that's why I said like when he died, I was like, oh snap, this is serious. But like growing up, going to the parties and stuff like that would just be there. People would just do it. So it was just like,
Where you
it
from?
was like alcohol.
Where are you from?
I'm from Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
That's just what was there. Like
But yeah, why do y'all feel like rap influences the
Simply because it's not all these rappers that are rapping about drugs and stuff, they don't all do that. Most of them don't
But I'm
actually.
saying, where are they getting it from?
It's because of the popularization, like that's what the kids want to hear supposedly. Like that's where it comes from. So their
But how do
management
you know-
team makes them rap these
question
songs about this.
Is
So it's
what's
like
the root? Like where does it all trace back to? Because you're saying like the rappers got it from the kids who want to hear that stuff, but why do the kids want to hear that stuff? I feel like it all trickles back down to lower class communities and it's things that go down in those everyday neighborhoods, which everyone who's higher up, like it's become like a fantasy of some sort. So like live that life of someone who lives in those communities, right?
why
And
is
so
it
it's
a
glorified.
dream
So you're
for
saying that codeine was already prevalent in the black community?
I'm saying every drug,
Rappers just started rapping about
everything has already been in the community and people just started rapping about it, and so everybody else outside of the communities was like, oh, y'all doing this now, let me hop on that like we hop on everything else y'all do.
rap music was, just to tell their story, and so these rappers were selling drugs and stuff to survive. But you know, it's kind of like when you grow up watching a princess and you like, oh, I always wanted to be a princess. You know that's probably not your life and that's not your path, but since you see it so often, you think like, oh, that's cool. So I feel like these rappers telling their stories that somehow morph into, oh, this is cool. I would like to be something like this. They're looked at as tough and whatnot. But like I say, everybody want to be from the hood until they're actually in the hood.
I don't think they were talking about that it was cool. I just think
they're just telling their story.
I think people misconstrue the lyrics and stuff that actually happen in a rap song. Like Future be saying stuff in his songs, and people be thinking like, "Oh, that's cool," but bro, really be just telling you that he depressed and what he going through in his life, and people just that haven't been through it or haven't used those drugs or whatnot, or been in that position, they feel like, "Oh, he's saying this just because it's cool." And
but sometimes he does say it just to be cool.
I mean,
because like he talks about mixing
though.
drugs and other people's stuff and other female stuff. So he'd be like, I'll put a perk in a blunt, and like he's necessarily not saying he'll do it, but he'll do it to somebody else. Like I feel like that's just a cool thing. Like that fad was in rap. Like that was in rape culture was in multiple songs, but I feel like that was just a fad. They saw that it sold money, so they kept it going. But then again, if we allow it to make it money, then it's gonna still be there.
So do you respect or support those type of things who profit off of telling the struggle? Like just for profit's sake, not to get the story out there or for a release, but just for pure profit's sake.
Truthfully, I don't care.
Do y'all support the artists that are rapping about these and glowing about you know the
It depends on the-
I mean, if you're telling your story, like your real story, like I'm with you. Like okay, I'll listen to music.
How do you know? Like,
I mean, like you don't know, but at the same time, like you know, there's just some people that you can tell when all their songs are about doing drugs. That's probably not.
or they're doing.
Don't even.
I just feel like
all the time.
if you're a good artist and I like your music, I'm gonna support
That's
you.
what I said.
If I feel the real, I feel the
really
real.
listen
Even
to
if it's
lyrics.
not, you feel me? You just portraying that you're a good actor or something. But
But
like,
that's not okay in this community because it's like you're portraying something that you're not even actually doing. Why don't you portray something better to
Actually,
show us that we
Because it's
can?
entertainment. People
But-
in movies
Hold on,
portray
can
stuff
I get
that
an
they're not.
example of a rapper that's glorifying the drug scene but isn't really living that life? Because I'm not.
Lil Yachty.
Yeah.
Future
Like-
PR.
Yes, Lil Yachty said
He
he
said
sold
he
drugs so many times in his
Yeah,
song,
they just
knowing
report
dang well that
so
he went to ASU. He ain't even
Yeah.
supposed
I
to
need
be
a bar or something.
Yeah.
It's so many. Well, the newer rappers are really like that. Like Trippie Redd, he ain't even sold no drugs.
I mean, regardless, I don't know.
He probably never shot nobody.
Y'all, I feel like y'all once again, y'all saying. I mean, I get what y'all saying. Like the rapper is like, okay, you're a rapper, right? You got this big audience, so what you say matters, and you should watch what you say, okay? But then again, it's like it's art. Art is supposed. I feel like you saying that, like you feel me, like the viewer of the art is, if they're changed by the art, it's the artist's fault.
No,
I think it's peer pressure.
Yeah,
But
like it's like your company is telling you that you have to represent this like persona that's not even real, that you're not even really about.
So do you
Is that
think
deep?
that like that rappers should, or just artists, entertainers, those who are highly visible and everything, do you think that they kind of have an obligation to the community to do better, to show better?
You don't gotta do nothing but live. If you
But
don't-
why not? But
Because they're not trying to come up to be no role model. Some rappers are, and you can tell that in their music. Have your children listen to that music.
I'm saying
But
everybody.
I'm just
can't
saying,
be
like some people
a
just
leader.
they didn't want to come up to be no role model. They wanted to come up because they saw that it was an opportunity to get profit. So I feel like you
Or
can't
they
get
just
mad
wanna-
at them for being an entertainer. They never signed up to be no parent to no child.
I mean,
You just gotta teach your
see
child
that, but I guess
what right and wrong is.
I didn't necessarily mean like that. I guess I meant like.
If your child shouldn't, I mean, like if your child feels like they have to get influences from music or outside resources, then you need to explain to your child that like
Because he doesn't have his phone.
I'm your parent, that you can come to me and you can talk to me about this, 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 and this. Me personally, my mom did that, so I would come to her for everything. I wouldn't have to turn to music. Music was a good coping strategy, but I didn't let music influence what I did.
You don't think entertainment influences people's thinking? Jody.
Yes, but I feel like you can't blame. I'm saying, G, don't blame something else for allowing it to influence you. So, like,
But that's all you hear. But that's all you hear in the music nowadays. Is I'm doing Xanax. I'm drinking lean.
That's
I'm doing
what about-
this. What are you supposed to do?
If I tell you a million times to jump off a bridge, it's up to you to jump off
Hold
that
on,
bridge.
but what about
True,
very
but you put it
highly?
in my head.
But people are
But you
glorifying
weren't
it,
strong
making
enough
it
to
look
control
good.
But what
yourself.
about the little kids that are in foster care who do not have parents? And you know the foster care system is not.
The foster care system.
If you're going to,
I mean, but like those are the type of people who listen. Those are the children who are very influential. It's not as influential to me because I'm grown. Like my mind is set.
I'm saying
So,
regardless of what I like.
so
Why do you
that
smoke weed, bro? Why do you smoke weed?
Everybody got different reasons for smoking weed. Like,
why you?
Not because the
I'm
rap.
asking you though.
I gotta go to sleep. I can't sleep
Okay,
without
me too.
smoking. So it's just how I
And there's specific
do stuff. So it's like you can't. I can't. You, I just don't understand the. I mean, I understand it, but I don't.
But you're trying to like, it's not their fault. But you have like 10, 11-year-old children out here who only influence is social media and the music. And if they hear the glorification of those type of drugs and everything, then
I'm saying why. My question is why can't they?
they're kids.
If you
Kids' mind is not.
Kids are not dumb.
They're not dumb. They're not dumb, but they're still highly
I'm impressionable, right?
Yeah.
So if you 3-minute song, right? Even if you listen to a whole album, I don't think nobody listens to more like what 5 hours of music per day at the maximum or whatever, give or take, whatever how you live your life. Especially if you're a kid, why aren't you using? A kid is alive
now,
like 11 more hours out that day. Why can't he have more positive reinforcement
exactly.
from that?
Why is that?
But
Because
that's
there's communities now where that's depleted. There's communities where there's no extracurricular outlet.
I'm saying the problem isn't the music.
It's
The
the
problem is how
people.
you raise your child.
Yeah, it is. But then like again with foster care, I know that's specific, but they don't have parents for real.
I'm saying
It
a
should be.
parent isn't the only person.
It's probably-
that-
So no, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying that the problem, like you said, it should not be that music is so influential. There needs to be other outlets, and I feel like those kids don't get exposed to other outlets. That's not what I'm saying.
So I don't feel like the artist should be faulted for
I feel
that.
like
No, I don't fault the artist at all. I'm faulting that there's no other outlet. That's really what I'm faulting.
That's what I said. I mean, I
I
feel
think
like
even those kids in those predicaments is not is I don't.
I'm sorry, like I just had very.
You're a person. You should.
There are other outlets. People play sports, draw.
But that's not always the case in the neighborhood that you live in. Like I come from a very like crowded neighborhood. Like the closest school like is not a good school at all. So it's like they don't have a football team because they don't have funding like that. Their books are falling apart. I didn't have to go to this school because I was more privileged than that, but I do have friends that go to schools like that. So it's like when they don't have anything else to do and they're in this community where it's like they see like their next door neighbor is selling drugs or they got a gun on them 24/7.
That's all they know.
Like that's all they know.
What does
So
that
when
mean?
you then
Why
when you turn to like these higher, you turn on the TV, you see this dude slinging. He's got millions in his pocket. He just had a strip club.
He
And
looks
they're like,
happy.
I want to
He
live that
looks
lifestyle.
happy.
So then, what do I need to do? I'm gonna follow his footsteps. So if this dude's rapping about drugs, doing drugs, selling drugs, all that, then that's what they know. That's what they learn, and that's what they do.
Are
It's
y'all
not
blaming the
about.
it's not about
It's
the
not
music.
about.
It's that they
Are
can
y'all
relate to
blaming
what
the artist right
It's
now?
not the artist.
No, I'm
It's the
blaming-
fact that they can
Y'all
relate
saying
to what the
that
artist is
people are
saying.
their environment, or-
That-
I'm
Yes.
saying
To
that
a
there's
certain
no.
To a
extent.
certain extent.
To a certain
though.
It's not the
extent.
artist's fault.
But it's not.
Okay,
I'm
look,
saying,
but y'all are living like in this whole fantasy. There's not. Okay,
I'm not
if
living.
there-
I'm telling you my life.
Yeah.
I know exactly, and I'm about to tell you mine. My mama lived in the hood, so she's the only one that made it out of her whole family, and my cousins and everything still in there. They don't have outlets like that. So how are they?
But
You
your
can't-
mom and them still listen to hip hop music.
No, but
So I'm telling you, like you, so your mom and all that happened, but like
But, okay, I'm
my
saying-
brother grew up in the hood, listened to
I'm
hip hop
saying
music. He
that-
chose to take a path that was positive. That's why I'm like, you can't blame it on
choose
him.
your life.
You
exactly,
choose
you
your own
do,
path.
but I feel like that's
People
where.
grow up in
But
hard
you gotta
situations.
have.
Sometimes they choose the hard path.
I feel like the community is lacking this sense of responsibility to another person. Like, if I make it out, I need to reach back and bring somebody else out. That's what I feel.
But you
I
have
feel-
rappers
okay,
that
I
are
understand
still
that.
rapping
I
about this
understand
stuff
that,
and still go back and give back to the hood.
I feel like you're putting
So, like,
too much.
There, it's a facade.
Future today.
You're giving them too much room.
For what?
You can't. I can't give you.
No, I'm not trying to crip. I'm not trying to clutch you. I'm not
But
trying to give you no type
I'm
of
saying
clutch
you
or
gotta
handicap.
understand. If you're from a lower class, whatever, you understand that you are not living in a normal, as opposed to the rest of the world or the rest of our country. You feel me? You understand that I'm from the hood, bro. I'm this poor or whatever, and this is how we live here. As you grow and you mature, you realize that the world is a bigger place than that.
Okay, let me tell you something. If you give that person the opportunity who's in the hood to get a close, somebody that they can trust, somebody that they know is not about to try to manipulate them, steal from them, like anything. If you give them that opportunity to go somewhere else outside of the hood, do you think that they will actually choose that?
Because they, at that point,
No, do you think? Just yes or no?
you can't say yes or no because their environment is why they can't make that decision. They're
No,
so used
but-
to sitting
but
there
you
making
have
fast
these-
money, not having nothing, not having education, and you throw them out there to the wolves.
No,
of course they're not
no,
going to choose
no.
that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you either have this opportunity to stay where you are in the hood, or you have this opportunity that you don't have to pay anything. All you got to do is show up. All you got to do is show up, and you have a bed, a safe house, food, and everything. Do you think that person is going to choose that?
Are you referring
I'm
to like
sa-
complacency
I'm-
now?
I'm saying you in the hood. You don't know if your
What I'm saying is this. All right, I feel like that question, the answer is gonna depend on person to person. I can't really tell you.
Well, that's for everything.
But I'm saying though, like
Make
it's
a
not
decision.
the hood, not bad. G.
It's not, and I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that there's some things that's lacking that other people should feel obligated to give back and try to bring up. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but you right now. I'm talking about right now. No one is not gonna magically change overnight. You have to understand yourself, your predicament, where you're from, and build a strong foundation in order to succeed and come back and bring people back up. I cannot coddle you and tell you and boo-hoo with you about how you grew up in a poor neighborhood and that affected your life so much that you chose to do whatever type of bad decision you did, and that is why your life is messed up, because you are from this place. That is not true, because your life every day is yours to choose and fix, and even though it's hard, I understand that. That's why I'm sympathizing with you. I understand.
How is it hard? How is it hard then?
What you mean?
How is that life hard?
What is
Yeah.
it? What?
What's preventing you from being this good person?
What
You got so
talking
much
about?
against you that it's just like to constantly be fighting against it.
Every
Sometimes
What
you
are you
get
fighting against? What are
Every
fighting
day you
against?
waking up and you seeing your friends and your other people that has it better off than you eating, drinking water. You think that's not depressing? Working up to that every day? Like, what? That's ridiculous. Like, that's just depressing. For real.
It's everything. It's
And
not
that can make you either a stronger person or they can make you an angry person. And I said that's what he's saying. Like, it depends on what you come from. Like, what you do is what you do. Either you grow up angry or you grow up like, oh, I gotta get out of here. I gotta do this. Like for me, like I was like, oh, I gotta get out of this. So I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna do good at school because this is my way out. Like some people just like, I gotta make fast money because this is the only way my mom gonna get to eat today. So I gotta make fast money. So it's drugs.
We're not
It's
thinking
guns,
about,
that's
we're
what
not
it is.
thinking about living as much as we are surviving, because it's not about,
It's
we don't
just
really
about
know
trying
how
to
to live.
get what you can get
I
at
don't-
that point.
You know, like I don't know nothing about none of that saving up. I ain't have enough to save. I got it.
Cause it's like right then and there, like you have to make a decision, like what you gonna do. You got $10. You gonna get food, or you gonna try to like go out there and get some more money. Like it's just what you live every day.
It's not like you can't take a break from it. And the thing is like the life in those type of areas is completely different when you step outside of those areas. So when you grow up in that type of environment, to be given the option to go out into a different environment and it's completely different. That's like throwing them into the lion's den. Like you don't really know
That's
What
how
you
to
what
do.
yeah.
Like
It's a-
here,
it's
I
a
see people driving
incredible shock.
Lexuses. They just got food. They parents sending them money. I'm just like here by myself struggling. Like you don't know what to do. Like some people just feel like, oh, I gotta go back because that's all I know. Like that's what it is. Like You can't just. Some
And
people
plus, it's
aren't prepared
alienating,
for
it's
that.
isolating. That shit depressing.
Yeah,
You're the only person away from the city, and the city changed in like 2 weeks. You down there for like months and semesters going to school, and it's like.
And then when you go back, people look at you a little bit different.
It's not even. It's everything has changed. Is you and being so far away from home and people calling you with all types of bad news and stuff that's happening because you want to stay filled in with your family, and that type of stuff affects you. And the people down here don't understand that. They ain't never been through it, so I can't blame you for not understanding. But it's like it's something you got to deal with on your own in your own way, and you don't really got nobody to help you with all that. So that is.
Cause like down here, if I get strapped, I'm strapped.
It's over with.
Ain't nothing. Nobody gonna give me no money or help me. Like it's just over.
So I feel like you gotta be a strong person.
So
It's your mind.
It's about your
It's what
foundation.
you control. Honestly.
Who teaches you personal responsibility? Where are you learning that from?
You gotta have, I can't teach you any moral values in actuality. I can't teach you any moral values. All that stuff that you hold close to you, your core values, you make them up. I can just show you what in my morality I feel is this is right or this is wrong or blah blah blah, and it's up to you as a child to soak that up, and I can only go so far as to prepare you and to give you knowledge and stuff, and the rest is life.
So how are you doing that? Are you just sitting them down and boring them and telling them, hey, you need to do this?
It's not about.
Why not just try to synthesize it through the entertainment? You know what I mean?
Some people don't even have.
Like, why not just say, hey, go study or something like that? Make a song about that instead of, doing drugs.
I think it's just
Something new.
outlets. We need outlets. It's just you need access to outlets.
It's not.
I feel like I don't know the kids.
You don't think the outlets will help any?
I was talking about the go study songs and stuff. It's not like people ain't making a song. The
Most
songs
of the
that
time,
people
like
make are
if
not
they
for
come from a
people.
low upbringing and
I don't
they
think
listen
they-
to that music, it's because
Nobody
they
tries.
somehow relate to that music. If you make good music but still make it relatable, kids gonna listen to it. Like I listen to Big Crit, I listen to him because he's still country, but he's still relatable. He still talks about stuff that does go on, so I can somehow still relate. I feel like when them kids like listen to drugs and guns like that, they feel like some kids really live through that, and they feel like that's relatable. So like I had this one person tell me that the reason they listen to this certain artist is because like they went through a similar story that they say in their music. So I'm just like, some people listen to that music because it's relatable. It's not necessarily that they're getting influenced. It's just they're saying something that they've been through.
We need that music.
Well, yeah, but like, what about like when the person that made it out, like that was their struggle? You can relate to that because that was their struggle. Why can't they then start to speak like, oh, this is how I got out of the struggle? Why still stick into that?
The reason the entertainers don't do it because that's not. If you start out a hood rapper and you switch up completely, you gonna lose sales. And at that point, at the point that they're at, they're trying to make money. It's not about parenting nobody's kid.
Chance did it.
I feel like they do change
Chance's music is still
the same.
chancy.
It's still the same. If one little label try to stop me, it's gonna be
Ross
some
started a
great
trap
hit.
rapper.
And
He
you're
got
like,
successful. He still continues to be a trap rapper. Like Gucci Man, he got married, changed his life around, got out of jail. He still raps about the drugs he sold and the girls.
So
That
the
he had sex
difference then
Gucci Man.
is that
It's
he's
no
not
song. He said he had a menage.
he's
Like
not.
he's married.
I think the difference in like even though his songs are the same, he isn't the same person. You can visibly see that difference.
But his lyrics is telling another story.
Yeah, but you can see the change with the lyrics and his visuals. So I feel like with that, that's even like that can help somebody because they see that he obviously ain't the same, even if he talks about the same thing.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like if it's the music and what they're saying, if they talk about drugs and the kid decides I want to do drugs, like that thought was probably in that kid's mind before he listened to that song, honestly. And that just gave him the okay. But like I can't fault the artist. The artist is trying to do what's best for the artist. The artist is not trying to care for my
No,
child.
I still cannot get on board with all that because everybody should have a sense of responsibility for everyone's health. You can't, like this whole dog eat dog, I gotta get it on my own type thing is why we're at the place we're at now. That's why I feel like that.
But
That's
I
how I
mean,
feel.
everybody can't be.
That's how I feel like. I gotta make it. If old girl down the street don't make it, that ain't my fault.
Yeah, like it's like I'm gonna step on you to get where I need to.
No, I'm not even necessarily saying step on. I'm not even
So you
saying
saying
step
that
on.
regardless, you saying that you don't feel like it's okay for me to think that since I made it, it's okay that they didn't make it. It's not my problem. that they
Yeah, I don't
didn't
think that's right to
You don't
think
think
like
that's
that.
right?
No.
I feel that, but I feel like it's a healthy balance. I think.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you should rely on, or you should allow. Yeah, you should feel burdened by bringing somebody else up. I don't think that, but I
Do it
still
inherently
think.
to
Yeah.
bring the entire community.
Yeah,
up.
But
I
I'm the
agree
type
with
of
that.
person
though.
like, if you don't want to be brought up, I'm not gonna bring myself down to bring you up.
Definitely no.
I can try and I can give you the tools and materials to bring yourself up, but if you don't have that will to bring yourself up, I'm not going to bring myself down to try to bring you to where I'm at. You should be trying to work to get to
But
where
then you gotta also understand that, like, whereas that person may 5 years ago may have felt like they didn't have that mindset to want to get out. You still can't just give up.
You can't help somebody that don't
Nah,
want
you
to.
don't.
Yeah, you definitely can't.
You don't give up. I feel like you always extend the hand out,
Yeah.
but you put it in a predicament where they have to reach for it.
Right. Okay.
And you feel me? I can't. I'm not gonna. You know, like if you don't reach for my hand, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Point blank. Period.
I do think that.
That was such a great conversation.
Some people should just.
So let's end with, how y'all gonna tell y'all kids about drugs?
If they come in my house,
Let me clarify.
I am going to beat my child. Why? I will definitely continue whooping because I got them, and it is payback.
You internalized
payback. It is payback because I got the whoopings. My child's gonna get the whoopings.
I'm sorry. And
That's another topic for another time. You're gonna beat them.
Child abuse. Come on, next episode of the Nation.
We should talk about this.
We should. Boom. Y'all already know.
Y'all tune in for the next episode. It's gonna be child abuse, but until then, if your kids ain't acting right, beat them for the holidays.
No.
Don't do that.
The child.
No.
give the
But
child
holidays
they
is for a
deserve.
limited time, so
Communicate.
Let's say
Communication.
for the holidays, be around family,
We'll
and
get
be
into
happy.
the description. Description.
All right, goodbye.
Wait, what? Oh no, we didn't talk about prescription drugs.
What about Lil Peep in his current?
What do we care about Peep?
What do we care?
Little Peep was dumb. He died because he took some drugs out of a bowl that his fan gave him. Time out. You're gonna take some drugs
Now you're young because you're the one who's gonna be smoking crack with your child.
I didn't say that. I didn't mean hardcore drugs.
A lot of stuff is thrown out there.
Like I'm just saying,
that
like
Lil Peep was saying
We call
prior to him getting those drugs was a red flag.
What's really going on?
The stuff that Little Peep was saying but prior to his
He was
death
warning y'all, like,
was a red flag. Little Peep had some issues.
when I'm gone and stuff.
And he had the opportunity that he felt he could deal with those issues.
That's so crazy.
That wasn't Lil Peep's fault. That was Lil Peep battling his demons.
Exactly. You gonna call him dumb?
He wasn't dumb for that. That's just
are you
Lil
gonna
Peep
get
battling
some
his
random
demons.
drugs that somebody gives you don't know?
If you at a point where you can't eat, sleep, function, wake up, do stuff, wash yourself, brush your teeth, live life, you gonna do whatever you want to do. Like, it's not the fan's fault. It's not his fault. You are battling your demons. You're in a constant battle with your demons.
Right.
You're not thinking about life, and you're not thinking about nothing else around you. You're just thinking about, oh, they're giving me this. This is a way I can battle these demons that I'm dealing with.
For real though.
You just
Why
don't
is-
do it.
Why is
Like,
prescription drugs?
It's not his fault. He had some issues that he was dealing with.
Question.
That's mental
Why
health.
prescription gloves become so prevalent now?
Gloves?
Prescription drugs.
That's a little.
No, we got some get ready for y'all today.
Okay, the question is, why is prescription drugs so
Prevalent. I thought it's
probably
away.
popping pills,
I'm just saying.
perks? Because
Look-
they're
look
easy
at
to
the
come
black
by.
because that's what the doctors are
They're easy to come
prescribing.
by.
Huh?
The doctors are prescribing.
You know you won't get in jail as easily.
And you can
Yeah.
make bread off
And
of
you
that.
make money. Yep, on the side, no taxes.
I'm getting filled by the government to sell drugs. The government is selling me drugs to sell. They're giving me drugs. The government gave us crack.
They giving us crack again.
Yep, it's
They like,
it
here,
is like
take
that.
this.
It's like the second round of this. This is
What?
I mean, like, if you think about it, for real, drugs are really easy to come by. Prescription drugs, like, all I gotta do is go to the. All I gotta do is go to student health and complain that my knee hurts. That lady will prescribe me anything.
What?
Like, that's really what she does. All she does is write prescriptions.
well. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. We hope all of you have a happy holidays
I mean, you can do
and a happy new year.
maybe avoid the
Unless you
Avoid
have a
the
strong mind.
This
Yeah, I'm gonna say don't do drugs.
Don't do
Unless you
drugs.
got a strong foundation.
You
Come
do
on
what
now.
you please to do. Be
How y'all
careful.
doing?
Don't do
Just
drugs.
stop, Ryan.
And Merry Christmas.
No. Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Not Merry Christmas. Happy
Happy
holidays.
And thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Blaze.
Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa.
Yes, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas and a happy new year.